Hello, everyone. Welcome to Anointed Lady TV, the home of news and politics. If it is your first time in this channel, you are highly welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if you like what we do on this channel, hit on the subscribe button. Also, put on the notification bell so you'll be notified by YouTube anytime we drop a new video. And if you are returning subscribers, thank you very much for always coming back to watch our videos. On this platform, we drop videos every day and we react to every video that come our way. And on this very video, I will be watching with you. And after watching, let's go to the comment section and drop our opinion constructively. Like our videos and also share our videos if possible. See you next time in my next video.
All right, welcome back. We're turning our attention now to that matter about the Conference of Parties 28, the reactions coming through. We've got Dr. Yunus Atanko, who is the chief spokesperson for Labour Party's Presidential Campaign Council. He joins us virtually from Kaduna. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the program today.
Good morning, Chamlin. Good morning, Nigerians.
Okay, so let's go over this. I mean, this Conference of Parties 28 in Dubai, the list of delegates for different countries, so looking at that chart, which got us to where we are here today. So how many delegates each country brought came under scrutiny. And so you look at that of Nigeria, where we had 1,411 delegates. So you can look at that chart, you see UAE, Brazil, China, Nigeria, Indonesia, and it goes on like that. So that graph just shows you where Nigeria fell in. So you can see the list of our delegates, the Conference of Parties, the parties themselves, and then you also see that of the overflow. I think that should come up now, guys. And so you look at all of that, which is how this question now came through. But it was based on this that your principal, Mr. Peter Obi, then went ahead and tweeted that in a twist of sad irony, let me congratulate the giant of Africa, Nigeria, for matching the great China with the same number of contingents at the ongoing COP28 in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Nigeria's contingents to COP28 totaled 1,411, the same number as the Chinese contingents, while China's budget for 2024 is about $4 trillion, about $2,280 per head. Nigeria's budget is about $33 billion, about $165 per head. China has a high Human Development Index with a ranking of 79 out of 191 countries, and Nigeria has a low HDI with a ranking of 161 out of 191 countries measured. And then he goes on to say, most importantly, the vast majority of those in the Nigerian delegation to COP28 are either non-relevant civil servants or relations, friends, and hangers-on of high government officials. Most of them hardly understand or have anything to do with climate change. So that then, of course, raises a lot more questions, because there's been some response to coming through from the authorities, which we'll go to soon. But would you go ahead and tell us, how did he arrive at the conclusion that most of those who are there are not relevant? I mean, this suggests that he thinks that they're all sponsored by government.
Well, the question we want to ask is that, was there any communication by the government to the people of Nigeria that we are going with X amount of numbers? If, for example, the target is for us to ensure that we are trying to increase the per capita income of Nigerians, we could have said that, okay, we are going with the Ministry of Mining, or we are going with the Ministry of Petroleum, and we are going with the minister or with a technical member who can be able to convince certain number of international community in trying to bring in more income to the country. None of it was done. Everything was kept in a shrewd, and the only thing we see, bam, we saw the numbers of 1,411 persons going to Dubai. What I would call, come, let us go and chop and relax. Because rather than you come, let us go and make money for Nigeria, there was no communication. So you could find it very difficult to understand exactly how did they come about that particular number. What are they going there to do? And who are they meeting? If it's a delegate of party, if this particular ministry or Ministry of Budget and Planning is thinking about how to work with certain particular group of people, or you talk about Ministry of Mines and Power, now you are meeting maybe a Chinese industry or a Chinese ministry to think about how we can improve the power sector in the country. These are some of the plans that we ought to have been done, and letting the people know the quality of people that are going with Mr. President and what are the costs, because we are running a country where we have a proposed budget of 27 trillion naira. We have a deficit in that particular budget of 9 trillion naira. We have in that budget a recurrent expenditure of 9 trillion naira. We have a capital budget of that particular of this country within 8 trillion naira. And then at the same time, we have a service debt of 8 trillion naira, meaning that the deficit in the budget is more than even the capital expenditure.
Okay.
And it's even...
No time, go, pardon me to jump in. I mean, I hear you. So if you say that all of those details were not put out before the Nigeria went out there, I hope you can hear me though. So yes, how did Mr. Peter Obi arrive at this conclusion, and yourself too saying it appears this is just for them to come and chop? What did you rely on to come to that conclusion?
No, because that was chopped out, it's very clear. Nobody, even you are not abreast or probably aware of that particular number until when the number comes out. So definitely you will work with the numbers that were shown vis-a-vis the non-information that the government gave out. So even myself, I do not even know the numbers until when I saw it in the papers yesterday night.
So the thing is this, I mean, in terms of what we are aware of, what we're not aware of, I haven't told you what we're aware of as of yet, but the explanation that came through from government is that contrary to what including yourself and Mr. Obi have said, that the assumption that all of them were sponsored by government, they say no, that is not the case. That the list of those who were sponsored by government was minimal. In fact, they went ahead to explain that it's conference of parties, interested parties. They could be civil society, it could be NGOs, it could be state governments, different people, but the federal government didn't sponsor all of that 1,411.
They should give us what they sponsored. You see, in a country where planning and communication is topmost notch, the government will tell you we are going with X amount of number of people, and this particular amount of people may cost us so extra amount of money because we are trying to build trust here with the people. This money does not belong to an individual. It's a taxpayer's money, and so it must be accounted for. Just like my principal used to say, Peter Obi would say that, look, any money that is in the government coffers belong to the people and it must be accounted for the people. So yeah. When you...
Yeah, because I'm just looking at, when your principal says the vast majority of those there are non-relevant, they are civil servants or relations and friends and hangers-on of high government officials, most of them hardly understand anything. So this presupposes that he's seen the breakdown of the list, who was where. And he might have also seen that those who registered were all physically present. Is it because some are saying, look, yes, some people registered, some were not. But comparing the statement of your principal and that of the PDP, because PDP says, look, they want the roll call and the cost incurred by federal government and these delegates. They want to see it, because I think from their statement, they haven't seen it, so they couldn't come to any conclusion. But since your principal came to a conclusion, the principle is that he's seen all of that. Has he seen it?
Look, we have a track record of wasteful spending. This is not the first time Peter Gregory Obi is making statement as regard to wasteful spending. Remember, there was a meeting that happened in the United States, and that particular same trend was established. So that gives him a kind of a leeway to knowing that this is a trend that is continuous. So those statements come out of the trend of the continuous way in which Nigerian government, especially this particular government, spends money without really looking at the income of what is being generated for you to spend as against the people. So it's an established trend. So even if they give you details of it, that will have helped to even give you a fact of the matter. As we speak now, these are trends that Peter Obi and many Nigerians rely on.
That's to say that no matter what the maybe Ministry of Information says much later, or even if they publish what the PDP is asking them to publish, it doesn't matter. Your principal has made up his mind that the trend continues.
Don't forget, we're in the digital world. Nothing is hidden in this sky. The number of people that travel can be easily accessed from the airline industry, even though there's confidentiality, but they could easily be accessed. Where they stayed, in the hotel where they stayed, the amount of money that was used for this, it can easily be accessed by you and I. Within a short period of time, you just get the information. So it is still easy. Whether the Ministry of Information does that or it doesn't do that, Nigerians are sure to monitor every kobo that belongs to them and how it is spent. It can be done.
Okay,
so we are only asking the record, and even now, as I mentioned it, it's just to put a stamp to the authority because we want a certified true copy. Even that word now, anyway, is now a questionable word in our courts. But then you will have it as a record to show that there is information saying that the federal X amount of money on this particular project or particular
if you're asking for
to the company,
true copy, that means that you haven't seen it. You haven't seen the document, the list.
No.
Oh, because I was wondering. That's what I was asking.
Of the expenditure.
What did your principal rely on to make this comment? Because this comment, many are taking it to the bank, saying this comment is true. But if you're now saying that, well, you haven't seen it, you want to copy, so you made a statement without seeing the list.
Like I said, every Nigerian can access each of the number of persons that traveled. Our principal, very possible information must have been given to him as regard to those who travel, how they travel. Just like I told you, it's a jet age now. It's easily accessible. Even in the airline industry, it's very, very easily accessible. But for him to make those particulars, and for your own questions, now, asking for data or certified true copy from the government is just put to pay what our principal have said. It's not rocket science, it's not hidden. But then, if they didn't come from them, we'll keep on accusing them of mismanaging and misappropriation our resources. They have to come.
So, Mr. Yunusa, this conversation's one that we all know that is very sensitive to Nigerians, and they want to get things really clear. So let's look at things here. COP28 is usually a gathering of different parties for different occasions. If the presidency has already said that they only sponsored about 100 people, and the whole delegation of Nigerians, I mean, even if you go to, let's say, for instance, you go to the carbonbrief.org, you see that there are IGO observers, international governmental organization observers, there's non-governmental organization observers that are all there. There are different events happening on the fringes, and different organizations that are interested in global partners or global investors or foreign direct investments can go to these conferences and seek for investors to join them. And guess what? They will be bearing the Nigerian flag. How is that a problem?
Okay, let me explain to you. I am no stranger to COP gathering. I was in COP program in Doha. You can Google it and you will see. And I even granted that interview. I was not sponsored by the government. There are various NGOs, particular NGOs have opportunities of getting international funding who sponsor their trip. That one is fact. But then what we are saying is that the delegate number of Nigerians sponsored by the government should have been made public for us to know. If the government is saying that they didn't sponsor all of the 1,411 delegates, let them give us the delegate number in which the government sponsored.
Okay,
we saw it even, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's just clear this here. When you went to Doha, you mentioned you went to Doha. Were you grouped under the Nigerian delegation, even though you were not sponsored by government?
I was not grouped under government delegation. I was
I said Nigerian.
The NG.
Were you grouped under the Nigerian delegation?
Hello?
Yes?
Come again?
When you went to Doha, were you recorded as being under the Nigerian delegation? I didn't say government or non-government. Nigerian delegation.
No, you will not be grouped under Nigerian delegation. There are groups A class, B class, C class, where you belong to. We belong to, I went under the civil society groups. And already it was clear. You have a civil society, they can give you a breakdown of those who come under the government coffers. And there are those who come under NGOs. There are those who come under the business sector who want to do business, different from even government, private business sector. It's very clear. But we are talking about the government delegates in particular. Now, this is very clear, specific.
Okay. Mr. Yunusa, if we can just get that graphics up there. The charts we have from COP28 delegates shows two groups of people. There are those who are called the party, and the other group is called the overflow. When you were there, were you in the party or the overflow?
No, like I told you, I don't know what the category looks like now, but maybe that may be categorized under overflow, considering the fact that we are under the civil society groups, okay? Maybe, and then the particular new grouping that they have may indicate these are actually recognized government officials. And that is the reason why we are asking for clarity. Now, you asking me right now, I am not a government official. I can only go ahead to go and look for information as regard to who travel under the government payroll. So if the government want to come clean, this is a lesson for them. Already the people have accused the government of wasteful spending.
Okay.
Earlier on, I stayed for a meeting and all of that. So they should have been more careful as regard to when they are going to Dubai. But anyway, the problem is that the government itself does not really care what the people feel. They hold them in high pain and distrust. And these are some of the lies that is in the system, which Nigerians are demanding for accountability.
As a matter of fact, yes, Mr. Tanko, because we want to be sure that the statement that government has put out there, they're not lying to Nigerians. So when we're asking for documents that you have, and compared to the ones out there and some of the ones we have, we want to be sure that, look, they're not lying to everybody else out there. But of course, we expect them to come clean, publish, come up with all of those documents. If government says, well, we sponsored what, how many? 100? Is that to say that 100 is from the presidency? Is it from ministries? Is it from agencies? Because even if it's from state government, that's government. If it's from MDAs, that's government. If it's from presidency, that's government. So all of those things are things that we want proper breakdown from them compared to the lists that several other people, including us, have. So those are the things that we just want to go ahead and clarify. So maybe we'll wait and see how many or what kinds of information they come through with, as a matter of fact, on this particular one, so that at least, because whatever happens, they will need to explain to the people who are those that went there, because there's a list out there in terms of even registration, on-site registration. Because, just as you said, if you went as an NGO, yes, you'll be categorized as part of Nigeria that came there. Maybe you're not in government, clearly. So those are the kind of things that we're looking to see how that comes through. Is that part of what you expect the authorities to also publish?
The authority have the honors of proof to Nigeria. We are lucky today. We have the voice to challenge the government to tell us which one is the fact. You see, this particular government and some of the past government are very good in keeping information away from the Nigerian people. Even if they try to cook up numbers now, it won't work, Because now what we will do, of course, is to, when they give us, and they bring out their actual numbers and give us details of the breakdown and say to Nigerian people, this is the X amount of money that was spent or budgeted for this particular movement, and so numbers went from each ministry on each department or so. This is now a confirmed statement of proof by the government. We will now put it against some of the information that we have or we may have or we may investigate to know this is exactly the numbers of what was sent, and then it will be their words against ours. But as it is now, Nigerians are under the fact that this particular government has embedded itself in wasteful spending in the midst of none, where you are servicing a budget of 8.28 trillion naira and a deficit budget of 9-something trillion naira, which is, of course, unbelievable. And these are some of the things that we cannot continue to be wallowing in poverty and debt while the government officials enjoying themselves at the expense of the people.